Hi, I'm Mark Trousdale here in Amsterdam at Money 2020, and I'm very pleased to be here with Emma Hagan of ClearBank. So Emma, could you tell us about your role and also something interesting about you not related to work?
Sure, so I am the Chief Exec Officer for ClearBank UK. And ClearBank is the first clearing bank, new clearing bank in 250 years. And we do clearing in the UK and the EU, and also embedded banking, where we partner up with other FIs to embed bank accounts into a front-end user experience. So I'm kind of responsible for everything that relates to the UK bank, pretty much. And then a fun fact is, I don't know how fun it is, but I'm a massive Star Trek fan.
Oh, nice.
I've seen all of them, and I have a signed picture of William Shatner.
Nice. I used to be a huge Star Trek fan too, actually, to be fair. That's very cool. That is a fun fact, actually. So could you tell us, I know, ClearBank's been around for, a decade, so can you tell us a bit about sort of the mission, how it's evolved, how doing business with these different firms has evolved, and how did the idea start to do a new clearing bank for the first time in so many years?
Yeah, so I think it was founded kind of quite a while ago on the premise that there were really a really small number of clearing banks in the UK, and it was all on kind of legacy technology. They were all operating for a really long time. But the world had really moved on, and kind of post-financial crisis, we were kind of in a much more digital era where consumers and businesses expected kind of an end-to-end, seamless, real-time experience. And they expected every part of the kind of delivery of that to be in line with that, seamless, digital native. And we saw a number of challenger banks enter the market as a result of that kind of post-financial crisis. But the clearing market hadn't really experienced the same kind of digital transformation. And so ClearBank was really founded with the idea that someone should do that, like provide real-time, seamless experience into the payments and support this new kind of breed of digitally native banks and fintechs by making sure that infrastructure part, the access to the payment schemes and the clearing, had that same kind of digitally native experience all the way end to end. And so that was kind of the founding and the starting place for why ClearBank was founded and what we were about. Naturally, that evolves over time, and so that's kind of always been central and core to what we do. And then we also found, kind of very connected to that, this opportunity for, again, helping and provide and stimulate competition in the market via what we call embedded banking. So that embedding a bank account or an FSCS protected account requires a banking license into a front-end user experience so that EMIs and payment institutions can actually provide a kind of a holistic experience for end consumers and small businesses, and are actually able to compete with incumbent banks, but without being a bank. So we kind of combine the best of great fintech user experience, kind of a broader range of services, and then all of the safety, scalability, resiliency that ClearBank provides through the bank account. And great examples of that are Tide, where we have a current account and a savings account for SMEs, and they've got a huge share of the UK market now that's grown over time. And that was kind of the evolution of that strategy. And as we look forward, that's really kind of supported where we're heading in the future, which is that to become a global leader in embedded banking and clearing.
Okay. Well, I mean, it makes sense given the space you're focused on, digitally native firms, high expectations that they too deserve a bank that's digitally native. So that makes sense. What are some of the key sort of, I guess, traditional clearing friction points that you see that sort of ClearBank solves for and deals with in this new mode of delivery?
I think a lot of it is technology driven. So we're fully cloud native. We were founded in the cloud, we exist in the cloud, we use APIs to connect. So it's really easy for clients to integrate with us. Many of them, as we talked about, are digitally natives. They're already in the cloud, they're already API native, and before they were connecting in from a traditional perspective then into very traditional ways of transferring value. So the ability to see really transparently where funds were going, whether a payment had settled, and to be able to do that kind of in a way that integrated with their own technology stack was really difficult. And they really didn't have an alternative for that. And there was also often, I'll call it, more limited appetite for supporting kind of this new breed of fintech in the market. And so we kind of came along to solve both of those challenges. And we also use, and again, this is kind of, this was fairly new at the time, We also provide virtual accounts, so that makes fintechs really able to reconcile kind of payments coming in and out much more seamlessly than they could before, and without having to take that data out of kind of their banking environment to be able to do the reconciliation. So everything was founded with the idea of how can we make it as easy as possible for somebody, a fintech, to do business and to focus on what they do best, and we'll just take care of the infrastructure.
Makes total sense. Obviously, innovation is important, but for banking, clearly risk management is also important. I know that's your background, right? How do you think that background is influencing how you lead what you guys do in the UK?
So I think it's been enormously helpful. Firstly, because in risk you see everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I think that gives you a really good perspective across the whole business, because that's where you've been focused a lot of your time. So I think that really helped from a starting position. I think the other part from a risk perspective is embedding good regulatory compliance, good risk management into what you do kind of helps you, I think, go from a really great idea and fast growth into fast, sustainable growth. And I think we're really here for the long term. Our clients expect us to be really resilient, to take care of the hard stuff, and to hold really high standards. So again, they're not worried about their banking partner. They can focus on their business. And I think risk management and doing that well, which is hard, kind of doing all of that, innovating in the space and making sure that you're taking care of compliance and regulation and risk management is really hard. And I think that's where we focus a lot. My background really helps kind of know how we balance all of those things when we're trying to prioritize and we're trying to work out how we deliver a really great solution to our end clients.
Makes sense. Well, given that your view is for the long term to serve your clients, how do you see, are there certain trends, whether it be AI or otherwise, that are sort of pulling the business or creating opportunities amongst your clientele, or that you're leveraging in ClearBank?
Yeah, so AI has definitely been a trend over the last couple of years. There's still a lot of talk in various conferences about kind of AI and use case. And I think the really exciting part is it's transformed a lot out of AI as the solution to everything to here's how AI really helps in real life. So we're definitely using AI and being thoughtful about how we use it and the business outcome that we're looking for. How does that help our clients? So we've been looking at that, and we see that again as an area that we'll continue to explore how we can use that as part of our business to help support our growth and help support our clients. That's definitely a trend that we're embracing at the moment, but looking and focusing on kind of business outcomes. The other area that we're exploring a lot is digital assets. So in the fiat world, we think that we provide a really great service, seamless, real-time, fantastic. But as we move forward in the future, one of the big trends is how is digital assets or how are transfers of value potentially on some kind of distributed ledger technology potentially going to replace kind of fiat payment rails in the future. And so again, we're looking at that as both an opportunity for innovation, as to how can we help support clients as they explore that space, how might we be able to offer something very complementary to our own offering that helps kind of keep innovation, keep it safe and support, again, our clients in terms of what they're doing, particularly I think in the cross-border space, where there's still a whole ton of friction in the wholesale cross-border kind of payments area. And that's, again, a trend that's been around for a while, hasn't really been solved for yet, and potentially a really great future opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, Emma, thank you so much for being with us today.
Pleasure. Thank you.